Hello everybody, my name is EBEN, and I decided to make a dog food dispenser for this year's design, or this term's design project. Okay, so my motivation for making this product was because it's quite a hassle to feed multiple dogs at the same time, and all the dog food dispensers that are available only feed one dog. So I decided to create one with 3 bowls. Yeah. Okay, my problem statement was to design and develop a low-cost manual dog feeder capable of feeding multiple dogs simultaneously to ensure that each dog receives the correct amount of food when the owners are feeding them. Okay, so to create a manual dog feeder, I had to make a quite simple and low-cost design. So I looked on the internet and I found a product from Houndsy. It's a kibble feeder. So how this product works is that the bowl slides underneath the storage opening and all the dog food falls through. But the problem with this design is again that it only feeds one dog. So I decided to take this design and use it to create a multiple dog feeder. Yeah. Okay. For real world application, this would be used in a house with multiple dogs. It will reduce the hassle of feeding them, and it will also reduce aggressiveness between the dogs and overfeeding. So this will also lessen waste because you can buy food in bulk and put it into the storage, so you won't have a lot of small packets to throw away or anything. So the key components of my dog feeder are the rotating bowl holder, the food container, the lid, and the acrylic viewfinder you can see in front there. So the top part of the bowl holder is made from acrylic. I made it out of acrylic so that when the dogs are eating and they're like slobbering all over the bowls, that the wood does not turn to mush, so it protects the wood underneath it. Yeah. And the food container is made from wood. This is because it was the cheapest and most easily to create out of like. So yeah, I didn't have to use steel, and I can also laser cut the panels. So yeah. Okay, so I think the main innovation for my bowl holder, or for my project, is the rotating bowl holder. So yeah, it's quite easy to use, and yeah, I can feed the dogs fast. Yeah. Yeah. Okay, here are my first hand sketches that I made to get the general idea of the project. That's the side view, and here's the top view. As you can see that I had the bowls spaced apart more, and I also didn't have like the front at an angle. This is because there was quite a difficulty with the size, because the laser cutter can only cut a certain amount. So that's the biggest I could create it. So I had to squish the bowls in more, and I had to create the front at an angle, because otherwise it will overlap with the bowls. So yeah. Here are just the CAD sketches. The top, front and side view, and the isometric view. Here is the 3D model of the food dispenser. And here is a section analysis of the joint, the holder that makes it possible to rotate. So I have the threaded rod in the middle, and it connects it lets this not wobble around when it's like connected to the base. And then I have a pipe around it, and I have the pin to let it, so I can move the pipe and the joint moves with it. And I also have screws at the top where the joint connects with the plates. Yeah. Okay, initially, this was my design for the dog feeder. So the problem with this design was it was way too big to fit in to let the panels be cut with a laser cutter, and it was also too complex because when the bowls are not underneath the opening there at the storage, all the food fell through or will fall through. So I wanted to make like a slider that when the bowl is underneath the thing, like takes it away, so that the food only falls through the holes. But I decided that's way too complex, yeah, and hard to create. So. Okay, for the product testing, I decided to take small sections of my components. Like for example, that's a small section of my bracket. I just wanted to see if the screws would fit and that it wouldn't like break or anything. And I also printed some components at a smaller scale to see if it will all fit together and work nicely. Yeah. Okay, so the tools I used were a jigsaw, a circular saw, and a hacksaw. These were mainly used to cut the base of the dog feeder. And then I used a drill and a screwdriver to assemble the frame of the storage box. And I used a laser cutter to cut the panels of the storage and also the panels of the bowl holder. I used a drill press to drill like straight down so that when I do it with a normal drill, it's sometimes skew. So I just decided to use a drill press to make it more accurate. And I used a 3D printer to design the brackets and also like the joint underneath. Yeah. Okay, the main skills I learned from designing this product and creating it was time management. We had enough time, but like I think I spent too much time with designing. So in the future, I will spend less time designing and more time like testing and manufacturing the product. Okay, I also learned laser cutting. The laser cutting is like automatic. You just send a file in, but there's a lot of safety precautions that you have to take. Like you have to wear special glasses because otherwise when it goes wrong that you don't become blind. And and I learned how to work with power tools like the jigsaw. It just made everything easier. It made it easier to cut. Like if you look closely, one side of the base is like a bit skew and not as even. Because I started cutting the base with a hacksaw, but then it was way too difficult and imprecise. So then I decided to use a jigsaw instead, and that was much better. Yeah. Working under time constraints is the same as time management basically. I just have to use my time better. Yeah. And I also learned a lot of CAD modeling. So I had to create the whole feeder in CAD first. And we also had to create a jack for this year's tutorial project. That was basically to help us learn basic CAD skills. Yeah. And then the safety protocols where the glasses are included, and also had to wear safety boots and make sure to not look at the people welding and stuff like that. Yeah, here are a few photos of like the jack that I made in CAD. That's just a render of it. Here's a section analysis of the jack also. Yes. Okay, the assembly sequence for this was like quite complicated because you had to attach the things at a certain in a certain sequence, because otherwise you wouldn't be able, like if I attached the storage before the bowl holder, it would have been a problem. So I had to like first engrave the base with a laser cutter, So it just made easier. I just had to outline the base so it's easier to cut. And then I had to like cut out the base with like the jigsaw now. Then I had to attach the frame to the base of the food container. I also had to laser cut the panels and attach it to the frame. And then I had to attach the threaded rod to the base, and then attach the food holder, and then I had to attach the storage to the base of the product. Okay, my research, according to Hill's Pets, they manufacture dog food. They claim that multiple bowls reduce aggressiveness between the dogs because everyone is fed at the same time, and it also reduces overfeeding, as you can change the size of the bowl with an adapter. So here's an adapter that I 3D printed. So you can place it there, then you can place smaller bowls into it. Yes, okay. Yeah, and according to the National Institute of Health, that a lot of bacteria, like the food, like the bowls, the dogs leave a lot of bacteria behind when eating. So when one dog is sick, it becomes easier to contaminate the rest of the dogs. So separate bowls help with cross-contamination between the dogs. Okay, so I applied this research by having multiple bowls for the over-aggressiveness, overfeeding, and the cross-contamination. I made it easier to like, the bowls can be filled in like a short amount of time. Instead of like taking a bucket or something and scooping it all in. And I can also change the bowl size with the adapter. Yeah. Okay, here's my activity log for this term. As you can see, we spent a lot of time on our project and our tutorial project. So those were the two main big part of this term. I also spent time on theory. That was when I was creating my website, and to actually make it is very much different. So I had to basically learn what to eat, what you can actually make, versus designing it. Okay, so my technical successes, how I solved all my difficulties, was I 3D printed those brackets to attach the panels at an angle. I also measured carefully because it has to be quite precise, and I also had to redo a couple of holes and to make everything line up. And I also ended up designing a slanted base, as you can see there. That's all the dog's food can slide through the hole. Okay, future improvements I want to make is I want to make a locking mechanism, as you can see there, so that when the dogs are feeding, that the bowl does not twist around. I want to make the product weatherproof, so that you can leave it outside. And I also, the viewing panel you can see there, it's quite obstructed by the handle. So I want to take these side panels and rather make them out of acrylic so that you can see easier how much food is left. Yeah. Okay, here's my bill of materials. It cost 524 Rand to make. The main expenses were the bowls and the acrylic. Yeah. Yes. Acknowledgements. I just want to thank Nick, Tani Almeri, JC, Kevin and Koenraad for helping make this product. And I also want to thank Wynand for the opportunity to be here. Yeah, here's a demonstration of the product now. Very fast. Yeah. And are there any questions? Yeah.
After a suggestion, I think you need to invest in a CNC router.
Yeah.
They simplify the thicker panels.
Yeah.
And you can spend a lot of time on design, especially with these types of things.
Yeah.
Good design creates good products.
Yeah.
The design is the base, it's the heart of your product.
Yeah.
And you need to spend time with that.
Yeah.
It's not too much time. Obviously, it took you a bit longer because you were learning design programs. But I mean, I do similar things like this, more or less, so I know. And when you start designing, you already need to think what products you're going to use. So that you know when you do the base, it's going to be 18mm shutter ply, and your sides are going to be acrylic or 3mm MDF.
Yeah.
But you can, with a bit of practice, your designs go quickly after a while. But don't slap on design.
Yeah.
Design is very important.
Yeah.
And don't have blinkers on, just focus on dogs. You can be cat feeder, bird feeder, rabbit feeder.
I think I need a lamb feeder. Really.
How many young people do we have to buy?
At the moment I've got 3 aunties, so.
Maybe for the material, and I might be wrong, but now you said that